sir. This is episode 11 of the Nuff Said Sports Podcast. My name is Adam Dickens. That is Trey Adams. Trey, say what up.
What up, though?
Yes, sir. We are here this week to bring you we're really excited to bring you some great content. We've got a lot to talk about. But to start off, thank you to Sonorous Wave for the intro song. Thing is booming, bringing some energy. They're a great music collective. Make sure you run their Instagram, check them out. And again, this is episode 11. Trey, how you been doing, man?
Trying to stay afloat with what news we can grab out of everything. But staying afloat. Looking forward to the upcoming seasons. But yeah, staying afloat.
It's
You
crazy. It's crazy how slow it is, but we got plenty of stuff to bring to you. It before I get started, it is a pleasure doing the show with you every week. Just because obviously you the homie, and I appreciate having something as in this to share with you and really produce just something great. So it is an absolute pleasure to be here every week doing the show with you. Just let you know, boss.
appreciate that. Same. Appreciate that.
Uh, and before we get started, we're gonna do our little training camp news session. It's just a quick rundown of some of the small stuff that's been going on in camp because it ain't a lot of shit going on. So I'm gonna go over a couple things. One of the big ones is what we got. We got Cooper Cup going down with the injury that is what it is. He's been injury riddled for the past couple years. Hopefully he gets better soon. Alvin Kamara is meeting with Roger Goodell to talk about suspension for beating the shit out of a guy at a casino, along with his boys. Corey Trice, Steelers rookie, he unfortunately is injured and out for the year. Feel bad for the Steelers on that one. Next we have Damar Hamlin is healthy and back on the field. He caught an interception in practice the other day. So shout out to him for being healthy and back to where he should be. George Pickens out here making crazy catches. Did you see the video?
Yeah, that was fire.
And he did it on Joey Porter. A lot of people don't know just because that's his rookie number. But he made that in midair on Joey Porter, which I think is pretty funny. But I think
That
we're
he
gonna.
threw the ball at him after.
You said, "Oh yeah, that show is crazy, right?" Can you imagine the trash talk between George Pickens and Joey Porter?
Yeah,
God, man,
lighting the
that's
fire.
that's crazy. I wanted to run this with something we didn't talk about that I'm gonna throw at you. Here's the top 20 players in merchandise sales, so their name is on this stuff and like jerseys and hats and shirts and stuff. You have Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow. Tell me if you noticed something in this. Micah Parsons at 4, Travis Kelce at 5, Jalen Hurts at 6, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, C.D. Lamb, T.J. Watt, Justin Jefferson, Kyler Murray, Kenny Pickett, Derek Carr, Jimmy G, Trevor Lawrence, Jason Kelsey of all people, Jordan Love, Jamar Chase, and Justin Herbert. Is there anything you noticed maybe missing from that list?
You
I know I
said
went through
something.
pretty fast. It's okay.
You did. So I'm trying to process. You said, what did I notice about the list, and then what
Yeah,
was possibly missing? What I
or
noticed
both,
was, I
both.
mean, it's like the main teams is like, well, the main people is like, sad to say, America's team people. It's like Dallas people, sad to say, NFC East Eagles. I mean,
A
it's
lot of
America team
NFC
type
East.
peoples. Yeah, it's America's teams type people for that. And then who's missing? Um, I didn't hear Lamar. I don't think. I don't think I heard. I don't know. I didn't. I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Out of the 20 top names I named, there wasn't one running back mentioned in the top 20, which kind of aligns with running backs not getting paid now. It's kind of interesting. Also, you got a couple people that I think should be excluded just because they got new teams, like Jimmy G. No reason for him to be up there. Jason Kelsey being up there is pretty crazy, just because he doesn't play his skill position and is the only offensive lineman up here, that's pretty wild. Um, Jalen Hurts is at number 6. That's a little bit of a boost just because that new the Kelly Green jerseys that came out for the Eagles. That's a little bit of a boost. That's probably why Jason Kelsey's up there now that I think about it.
I'm
Um,
weak.
I mean, other than that, I didn't really. You got a couple pass rushers up there. I didn't expect Michael Parsons to be up there, but I mean, Cowboys, I guess, unite. Cowboys fans unite. Probably gave each other a hand job when they went to go buy the jersey. Um, Other than that, I mean, I expected at least one running back up there. I was pretty surprised about it. But yeah,
If you had to pick
um,
one, who would you pick? Or who
huh?
would you think would be up there? If you had to pick a running back to be up there, who would you think would be up there?
Well, you told me a couple of weeks ago that they buy Saquon Barkley's jersey in New York, so I figured he
Yeah,
would probably be
I
up there.
mean, they got them all already. It ain't nothing like if you got them because they've been with the team for a while. It's like you wouldn't expect it to change, but those other people is like I mean, even the quarterbacks, Spencer, they've been with the same team, but I mean they're the best in the league at what they do. So yeah,
Yeah, Derrick Henry, I would expect to be up there. Christian McCaffrey with the 49ers because he's only been there for a year. I thought he would be up there. Um,
valid.
it's a few running backs I would think, but it's just I guess it's a big the big markets thrive and the big names thrive a little bit more. Um, the other thing I was going to throw at you is that the NFL has this came in like an hour ago. The NFL has, and tell me what you think about this because I was somewhat interested in this very minor change, but still, the NFL has modified the personal conduct policy, granting them the ability, if they choose, to investigate and take disciplinary actions against incoming draft prospects for incidents that may have occurred before the player entered the league, such as like the Joe Mixon case, or the Jalen Carter incident. Uh, and so any crime or any incidents that happened before they came into the league, they can now investigate or discipline the player for. I thought it was my initial thoughts was that's pretty fucked up that like you can extend uh your authority past the player joining the league. I thought it was kind of like I feel like that's a little bit too far. Unless they're found like guilty after the fucking fact or something, you know what I'm saying, like that. But like, we going back to your college days to, what I'm saying. That's pretty fucked up. I
Fuck
thought.
no. Hell no. I say that only because of the simple fact in the real world, which again, this is their job. Think about it. This is their employer. They can look at your if you have criminal history or anything like that, they can look at that the same way for regular people like us. And so why can't they do that for people that's making more money? I don't see a problem with that. If anything, I thought they was already doing it, but I don't see a problem with that. No, if anything, they need to. So it's so certain people that probably shouldn't be in the league aren't in the league, or they don't give them the chance. Because again, it's just a waste before they end up doing something with the opportunity they got in a bigger platform, etc. So no, I think I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought of like the Reggie Bush case. Obviously, that's more of a NCAA type of issue, where
Mm-hmm.
he was found guilty and they took his trophy after the fact. I just feel like things could get a little bit blurry. If they stick to certain stuff where it's like in the middle of the draft process, I don't know, somebody just gets caught speeding or something like that. That's cool. Question before we go forward. Where do you fall in politics? Because you give me conservative vibes in certain things when you say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Because I would say most people that find out, like, go under the. Like, I'm not a big politics guy, but I'm just curious. Because some people that fall, I would say, a little bit more liberal would push for this to not be the case. That's why I'm like, on the talk about that. Why I gotta give me just a second.
I personally, I think it's no mo. By the way, pause and no more before I say it. I think I go both ways. I think I have certain uh topics I feel like I can be a liberal or I feel more liberal about it, and then the other I am more um conservative about. So I if you say what do I identify as, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't. So I ain't gonna hold you against that. None of that. I wouldn't know.
Maybe like a they them type of. That's what you identify, or I'm just fucking with you. I knew that'd get you. All right. But no, I do think that some of your belief systems tend to fall under the conservative feel. Politics, again, I don't know where you fall. Personally, I try to just live my life and, whatever they do, they do. I can't control it anyways. So I just keep it going. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty intriguing way to, that they can really extend their authorities past. But anyways, I'll let you lead the way with the next subject because I'm curious to know what you think about
So in Indianapolis with the Colts, we last week and slash I want to say over the weekend rather, or the end of last week. Jonathan Taylor, um, and Jim Irsay pretty much are on different paths on pretty much because of the running back controversy and what's been going on. Jonathan Taylor had some comments about what Jim Irsay had to say about the whole again pretty much hiding behind the NFL's Players Association um, contract and things of that nature. And he commented, being Jonathan Taylor commented, and then Jim Irsay fired back. Apparently, they both met up, had a meeting during training camp, and Jonathan
in a bus too. Like so, it was like really close quarters. They're like just chopping it up on like uh, a little bus.
and what concluded from that was Jonathan Taylor requesting a trade. And pretty much you could tell from that trade request that they were not on the same page whatsoever. To the point where obviously he still is under contract and he's not even willing to wait until that contract is up to sit there and say, all right, I'm going. He's just like, no, I don't even want to be part of this organization anymore. Um, just off of that, before I get any further, do you think that relationship is worth being rekindled? Do you think he can go back to work and try to still play for the Colts?
I think based on some of the things that Jim Irsay said, I would say no. Because when you say things like, not was he right when he was saying if I die tonight and you're out of the NFL, they won't think about us tomorrow. When you say things like that, I mean at the end of the day it's factual, but you're dealing with people. And so I think when you're dealing with people, specifically people that want to get paid, you have to be a little bit more touchy and more sensitive about those issues. Because at the end of the day, Jonathan Taylor's trying to feed his family. Also, Jim Irsay is a multi-millionaire in the hundreds of millions of dollars type of aspect. And so he's kind of out of touch when it comes to the person who's just trying to feed his family and all, where Jonathan Taylor is like I'm assuming his net worth is single digit $1 million. And I know we see this like, wow, crazy, but it's a different type of wealth between the two. So Jim Irsay has that. He has that privilege to say something like that. I think that at the end of the day, business is business, and Jonathan Taylor just wants to get paid. I guarantee you right now, if the Colts extended an offer that was in the range that he wants, as far as in a extension, he'd be happy. He'd be out there on the practice field tomorrow. I think it's about money. It's not personal. I think he could get past Jim Irsay being a little bit ignorant to what he wants. But someone, go ahead. I'm not gonna go too deep. Go ahead. I'm not gonna go too deep. That's why
business is business. I would say, I agree with the whole, like I said, business is business. I do think if they offered the money to him that he was requesting or demanding, I do think he would take it. I also, based off of history, in my opinion, I think Jim Irsay is a fucking dickhead. Um, I think he's a little greedy bastard, and he doesn't really know what he has when it's in front of him. Um, and this is again just based off of history. Obviously, my main thing is just the whole Peyton Manning situation. I don't think he handled that the best. I get Andrew Luck at the time and all that. But again, the way he handled it and the way his he spoke about it. Again, I feel like in the business world and in general as an employer, I don't think you have to be cautious of what you say and how you say it. And I don't think he's cautious of that, and he really doesn't give a fuck. Um,
Well,
and I think
let me cut you, not cut you off, but well, I'm gonna cut you off, just because I I too expect that, because of course we're talking about the same Jim Irsay that was driving under the influence, the same Jim Irsay that they found bottles and bottles of pills that he wasn't subscribed to and didn't have a subscription to in his car. We're talking the same Jim Irsay that routinely gets drunk throughout just team activities and always smells like alcohol. That's the same Jim Irsay we're talking about. And so I think
mhm.
it's unfortunate that even though we give it, the NFL gives exceptions to owners like that, that there's no sympathy when it comes to players just wanting to get paid. Not even talking about conduct stuff. But go ahead.
But like I said, that's just that's who he. I think that's his personality. So I don't. I think in general you can't you can't judge him based off of that. I don't think you could criticize him based off of that. I mean, that's just who he is. But in general, do I think Jonathan Taylor? I mean, any team would fucking trade. They want like a high. They want pretty much a first round pick for him or a second round pick. I think if I'm being if I read correctly, it was like a second round pick is the minimum. I would throw a second round pick to go get him. Fuck yeah. I think any team would love to have him. So that part, I mean, he'll have a market. That's nothing to worry about. It's just a matter of if Jim Irsay is going to do it, because he also commented and said he's not willing to trade him, or he's like, I'm not talking about this. He's going to be here in October. He's going to be here now. He's going to be here in October. So it's just, I mean, if he sticks to it, if the offer is pretty enough, maybe he'll say fuck it and pull the trigger. But other than that, it's just a matter of, I mean, if he's going to stick by his word, or he's just like, nah, I'm not going to cave into this demand.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think if I'm Jonathan Taylor, I wouldn't ask for a trade because essentially the team that trades for you has to be ready to offer you an extension, or you're not going to play for them either.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of limits the number of teams that's going to trade for you. And because he just wants insurance, I think what I would do is I would say, okay, you're not going to pay me now. You're not going to give me an extension. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to ball out this year. Okay. And if I'm even somewhat hurt, I'm not playing. Even if it's the smallest thing, like shin splints, like I'm not playing. If it's a bruised calf, I'm not playing. Like anything, in the smallest things, right? I would ball out as much as I can before I get hurt, and then next year when I'm a free agent, I just leave the team, and I get the highest number I can, and I go from there. Because I also think that a lot of teams and players are at a standstill because everybody's trying to figure out what is the running back market.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Western standoff.
Yeah.
Who's getting paid what? Are you worth it? Like everybody's trying to figure what that is. And so I think it's kind of bad timing for Jonathan Taylor too. You know, and who's gonna get shot first? So
I like that. I like that. That was a perfect analogy. I like that.
um oh yeah, you said you were gonna take it further. What was there anything else?
Uh,
What do you think about the injury rumor stuff that got put out? Like it just it had came up about his back and how he came up to training camp and that he was hurt and that
he
they were
denied
gonna.
it. He denied everything. He was just like, that's bullshit. He denied it immediately. Like the moment they put out stuff saying they was gonna put him on the non-injured reserve list or
Yep.
some shit like that. And he was just like, yeah, that's not happening. I'm not injured. I don't know what the hell they talking about. So he made it seem like he was gonna play. especially because it will be without pay. If he's on that list, it's without pay, and that's his main shit is like, yeah, that's not happening. If y'all gonna sit there and say, oh, either I play and I get injured and then I still get my money, or I sit there and go on this list and I don't get my money, I'm gonna play. Just like you said, exactly what you just said. I'm gonna sit there when I do get hurt. I'm not gonna force the issue. But no, I definitely think he's gonna get his bread. I ain't worried about that. He's gonna get his bread as he should.
Well, it makes me think that like the Colts are already playing dirty, like between the owner being upfront and now you playing games with the media, and pretty much already threatened to get ahead of the game of if he does get injured, what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And so it seems like pretty much if he threatens with the injury to not do training camp, they're pretty much already gonna go ahead and try to keep a salary from him. It's just dirty games, man, and the Colts just give me. And if I'm Anthony Richardson, bro, I'm looking at this like, is this really the team I want to be with long term? When my
Facts.
time comes around to
Facts.
get paid, if I'm
Facts.
other players, I'm looking around. But I think this brings up a subject, and I'm not trying to drag this out too long, was that when players, specifically not good players, I'm not talking about Jonathan Taylor because he's obviously talented and a great player. When players start asking for more money, in almost in an almost weird way, it's hurting the team. And I didn't think about this because I always thought about, oh, the owners got money, they'll pay him. But obviously, NFL teams are on salary cap. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have a player asking for more money, in order for you to get paid, somebody's not going to get paid or somebody's going to get cut to create that cap space
Mm-hmm.
or that cap salary.
You
So,
take it. You take it from somebody else. You are.
which is a crazy way to think about it, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we really don't think about it like that. We just think, oh, he just want to get paid and things like that. If I'm looking in the locker room, not the Colts locker room, but just in general, and there's people asking for money, it's like, damn, like you really trying to take money away from me or the next guy or you know the the 52nd, 53rd man on the roster, like you taking away a job essentially.
I agree with that. I do. Like I said, I do. Now, when I hear big contracts, the first thing that goes to my mind is not, well, it is the what they're making their annual average salary is. Yes. The second thing is the dead cap, because again, that's essentially what the salary cap, that's what hits the salary cap. So when that number is one person is 36 and they only get 150 or 120, dude, start doing the math on that. You're talking about one person hits 30 and most of these is quarterbacks and shit. That shit hurts. And that's what now again is the biggest effect. That's why when you hear people like Patrick Mahomes taking a pay cut, that shit means something, because it's just like he knows he needs talent around him to win. He knows he's great, but he needs talent. And to hear that more and more people are requesting more money, like you said, that's going to be higher dead cap on them eventually. So I get that. I think that naturally, and like you said, that's mostly what owners are thinking. But again, it's not. That's why you don't give that to any and everybody. They have to be selective on that, and that's why I feel like they got to do a better job of. That's it.
Yep, and I mean if you want to extend this to the NBA, because essentially what the NFL has is a hard cap. And what the
Mm-hmm.
NBA essentially is doing is becoming less of a soft cap and more of a hard cap, where you can't really go over, unless you're paying an arm and a leg, to go over the cap. Because they are becoming a hard cap team. Essentially, instead, you know how a team has one quarterback who's getting paid 20 to 30 to $40 million a year. Imagine a NBA team having two players that's getting paid quarterback numbers,
Yeah.
and everybody else on the team is getting paid vet minimums or minimums
Yeah.
for whatever year they're in. That's what's gonna end up happening. And when a superstar is asking for more money, that's someone else's job, and that's what it's gonna look like. That's why in the NBA, a lot of veterans that should be making minimum, like not minimum, like medium type contracts are gonna be making a veteran's minimum contract because all the money's going to superstars now, and everybody else is minimum wage pretty much, and that's what it'd be going towards.
I hear you on that. Like I said,
You know what I'm
they
saying?
gotta
Like
they
a
gotta
lot of
figure that
people
out.
don't not comparing it, but essentially the NBA in a salary cap situation is becoming what the NFL is right now, and that's gonna be I don't know a lot harder. But moving on to the next subject, we're a couple weeks behind on this, but we both got a chance to catch the quarterback docu series on Netflix, produced by Peyton Manning's production company. The three quarterbacks that were on there were Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota. Um, Trey, what are your general thoughts on it over the overall docu series? Not the specific quarterbacks, but just general thoughts on the series.
I like it. I like the idea of again just the most important position on the field being the quarterback. You're able to see behind the scenes of their lifestyle, kind of how they carry themselves in that position in the locker rooms, in their personal lives. I think again when it's Peyton Manning led, I know it's going to be good. I honestly do. Um, and I do think you're able to get beyond the scenes of an NFL, not just again a regular player or a skill position player, but the most important position. Let alone again, they got the most weight on their shoulders. They got the team, they got the city, they got the state. If it's only or one team in the state, they carry a lot. And to see behind the scenes one of, if not the best quarterback in the league, as the season one person or one of the season one people, that was great on their behalf. I think, and again, they got it approved for season two. Um, Heads up if you didn't know, Justin Fields declined season two, and it was another young quarterback
Tua,
that is
Tua,
Tua,
yeah, Tua decline.
and Tua declined season two. So they got approved for it, so they're going to do it. It's just a matter of who's going to be those quarterbacks haven't been revealed hasn't been revealed yet. Um,
Well, something
but
came out today that the reason why a lot of quarterbacks are declining, or why they're saying they're declining it, is because the series, and I think this is really smart. The series is putting out these rumors, apparently, however true this is putting this out to keep whoever is going to be in the season under wraps. So we won't know until the trailer comes out for like after it's already done. So after this year's over with and they put out the production trailer to get people hyped, that's when we will find out who's in the they don't want to expose who's going to be in it yet. So apparently they're putting these fake rumors out or whatever the hell to keep it under wraps until the trailer comes out, and then it'll be like a big reveal to it. In person, I would like if they keep expanding it. So instead of three quarterbacks, they maybe do five next year, or they do like they keep changing it up. That's what I would like. But go ahead. Yeah.
I hope they don't. Just keep it simple. Do three. The more you do, it's only 32 quarterbacks in the league, so it's like the more numbers you do, you're gonna run out of people to end up doing. So again, you're just pretty much you're starting your clock and in time. You're pretty much cutting it shorter. So to avoid all that, just keep it at three. And I hope they just don't do bum people. Like again, don't get me wrong. Marcus Mariota, we're aware of his situation and how he, um, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself right now. But again, you don't want to do bums. You want to do people that are interested, people that you will actually watch. And you had Patrick Mahomes in here, so yes, people are going to watch that. If you ain't watching for nobody else this season, you watched it for Patrick Mahomes. So again, just keep it interesting, and I think they know what they're doing when it comes to that. But that is shocking to hear that news that again they wouldn't reveal it till after, which is smart because then now during the season you'll be sitting there trying to see, oh, who is it, who's doing the more chatting and all that extra shit. You're trying to figure it out yourself instead of actually just watching the football games and just letting shit happen on its own. So I like that.
Hey, I just sent you a picture you should be getting. I want you to break some breaking news. Dun 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 dun. I don't know what sound that is, but that's what I made up in my head. We have our free agency signing in the middle of the pod that Trey is about to break the news I wanted him to break it because I can't pronounce his first name. I can only pronounce his last
That's
name.
crazy because before I couldn't say his name neither, and I had to practice multiple times.
Okay,
But the Bears, but
Yannick
yeah, the Bears
Ngakwe.
have signed Yannick Ignague, yeah, to what is that? 1 year
One
deal?
year, 10 million, I believe.
See, there they go. Bolstering up their defense as they
Or
should.
hold on, let me check. See, go ahead.
As they should. The Bears getting a defensive end to bolster up their defense because they can't rely on dumbass Justin Fields. Um, that's a good signing. That is a good signing. Like I said, defense is going to win that division. So that's a good signing. And again, I liked him as a pass rusher. Um, I want to say he's like mid young 30. He's like young 30s. I think he's like 31. He's between 28 and 31. He's not old. So again, it's just like that's a good signing. I like that.
For I like the fact that the Bears just keep adding to this defense and keep chipping away at the talent difference between them and a lot of teams, and the fact that they're really focused on the defense, I think says a lot. And man, big year for Justin Fields because boy, if you don't show out, you about to get the boot, son. And,
they're gonna drop him like a hot tamale if he don't.
facts. Uh, Hold on, I'm gonna see how much his contract's worth in just a second.
Um, but yeah,
I
so
think 10
to
million, 10 mil as well. So
it can't be that. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
about to say
one year
it
10
can't
mil,
be.
1 year 10 mil.
Got you. It couldn't be like more extravagant than that. That would be overpay.
All right, back to our regular scheduled program.
So yeah, like I said, that was my take on the that was my initial take on the quarterback series. What was your what do you feel like you like most about it the series when you first even heard of it? What was your initial reaction to it?
Well, my first reaction was Patrick Mahomes. That was my first takeaway was I couldn't believe they and you we were talking about this earlier before we started pod was the fact that they got the best quarterback in the league. Like the fact that this would even happen. I didn't know how good it would be. I'm shocked that the NFL took this route to
Mm-hmm.
kind of. Well, I mean, it's not really on the NFL, but I'm sure they had to give up rights and stuff like that. But like the fact that the NFL would be okay with this happening because I felt like if the NFL wanted to do it, they would have done it. But I think with Peyton Manning's name on it, I think that kind of I don't know, but I'm assuming that would allow them to lead to have someone like Patrick Mahomes. That because it was a player first production company that it's Peyton Manning, fuck yeah. But if it's the NFL, they'd be like hell no. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I was just we've never seen something like this happen before, and I'm glad they renewed it. It was like number one on Netflix shows, so it did numbers. Not sure exactly the numbers, but it produced. So
Mm-hmm.
I was highly surprised but I'm just surprised that the NFL let it happen. Like because usually the only time we've seen a behind the look like this is Hard Knocks, and that's very surface level, in my opinion, surface level content that the NFL has given. So I was really surprised that they let that happen.
I agree.
But
I agree with that. That's like you said. I definitely think the fact that it's Peyton Manning and the fact again of who he is and the spokesperson and the ambassador he is of the sport and of the league and always has been. I think that's why they was just like, we cannot say no to this guy. Like we can't.
yeah, I mean, and his telecast show is really doing good. On what are they doing Monday? What do you do Monday night
Monday night, yeah,
football?
Monday nights, yeah. Him and
That
his
that did
the
hella numbers
brothers.
better than the NFL's regular broadcast. So, they're gonna continue to do stuff like, and I'm really excited. Like, I think the closest thing you can connect this to is what's the college Last Chance U. That's the
Yeah,
closest thing you can really compare that to, uh, and it's a hell of a look and I'm surprised they still did it. The quarterbacks did because it really went in depth. Like when you let somebody come in your house, and I'm sure they were
Yeah.
there all season. That's got to be a huge headache. And I get Last Chance U because like none of those players or coaches or universities really have money like that. So the people with the millions of dollars letting you in their house and ruin their privacy for the whole season is crazy to me. And that's why I'm surprised they really did it.
I
Oh,
definitely think it was. I definitely think they was like in and out. Like they would have like certain days where they would film at least like once a week. They would film type shit, and then whatever they grabbed that they feel like those stood out, they would clip it. Um, but yeah, like I said, it's just it is invading their privacy. It's even like you're hearing these teams plays like they're dead ass calling out plays in the huddle and shit, and they're literally saying their plays. So I don't even know if they're wearing a mic or they really have somebody on the side, and you could just their technology and everything is really zoomed in on the players and shit or the quarterback. But that shit was fire. That shit was fire.
from a production wise, if you're it was 8 hour long episodes, give or take,
Mm,
you have to assume that if you're given 8 hours of content, I would say they probably had 10 to 20 times as much film time to just cut and make all of that. And that's each quarterback. That's a lot. And think about it, you pretty much got three different crews in three
mm,
different locations. Follow them at all
mm,
times. Which is
mm.
crazy. Yeah, the only thing I think would have been better is if like the two of the three quarterbacks won against each other and they have both the crew, like you literally were seeing both sides. That would have been sick. But I know that's asking for a lot. Um, moving on. What I mean, not from this subject because I really want to keep talking about what were your thoughts, surprise? What was your big thing when it came to? We'll work our way ourselves up. So when it comes to Marcus Mariota, what was your thoughts? Your first takeaway? Your just wow, whatever you got.
I You actually, well, again, I liked Marcus Mariota before. I was a fan of his when he came out of college. Again, he went to Oregon, and that was my college football team. So I was always a fan of his. But watching this, I felt so bad for this guy. It was like, holy shit. Now you actually get to see the mental side of the game that a lot of people don't. We talk about as fans, we talk about like it's nothing, but it really does take a toll on you mentally and it impacts your game. Like seeing him go through the fact that he was signing a 1 year deal to kind of prove himself, and that if he didn't prove it this year, he was going to be a backup pretty much for the rest of his career. Like this was his last chance, and he knew that coming in, and he literally like admitted and it was open about that. Dude, this shit is on my it's in the back of my head. Every snap, this could be my last snap, and it kind of showed, and it sucked in a way. And again, we talk about it like, dude, you ain't getting another chance, and stuff like that. And we joke about it, but this is this dude's actual life. That shit actually like you feel some type of way. And like I said, you learning stuff about the players more down to earth and more personally. So I definitely think again, just seeing him go through his day to day and how again the for him, I feel like it was his headliner was mental health slash mental impact in the game. Like that would be how I would categorize him in his area slash topic for this specific show. I think that's how you would classify him.
You know, it was so funny is I had the complete opposite takeaway
Wow.
from his part. Not I wouldn't say the complete opposite, but like to me it just showed me like why you're not that guy. Like no, for when he was coming out of college, like I really thought like he was gonna be a amazing quarterback. But like if I had this in depth of a look at him, like I felt like I would have known. Like I would have like, yeah, you're just not the guy. And I think it was because they would cut scenes from what he had going on in his mental to like Patrick Mahomes or even Kirk Cousins, and like that's the difference. Like you know how you can look at two guys and be like, well, that's the leader right there, or
Mhm.
that's that guy right there, or fucking like big dick energy. Like you know what I'm saying, Patrick had big dick energy, and Mario was like, "Oh yeah, I'm here." Like, okay, we're
He
going
was
down the
damaged
field,
already. He was
huh?
damaged already. He was damaged
Okay,
already.
he's damaged already. Whatever it is, he humbled. Like that's the difference in being that guy and not being that guy. And he just you just saw the clear difference of who a real leader was and who wasn't. And I'll talk more about Patrick in a little bit. But I think I do agree with you that like yeah man, like he was having real life stuff going on, having a baby going on, thinking about okay I have a child going on, but I might lose my job this season, and I'm going out on the field, and because the Falcons offense wasn't there or the offensive line wasn't as good, he was getting beat the fuck up all
Uh,
season. Like he was having to deal with all of that, and just hoping he had a job for next season. And it's just like, man, it's a lot to deal with. But for me, I mean, I see it as like for somebody like me and you, who I would say we're kind of middle class people when it comes to money. Like that's normal fucking life, bruh. Like I be having like we all got shit going on. Like for example, not trying to get too personal, but my girl went into preterm labor when we had our last child, and she couldn't work, and she was getting like a quarter to a half of her check. Well, it wasn't enough money coming in. I couldn't be next to her in the hospital at the same time. So I was
mm.
door dashing. I was working my regular full time job. I was door dashing and taking care of our child at home because we got an 8-year old. Like, and dealing with shit when I'm at work. Like, but to me that's just normal fucking life. So like, to me it just wasn't like tough stuff. Like at least he getting paid.
And like I said, that's that mental health part. Like I said, because like I said, maybe he never experienced anything that which call it that not even say traumatizing because it's not necessarily traumatizing, but again, maybe he never experienced that hard part of that hardship before. Again, he
It was their first child.
Hawaii.
I think it was his first child too, right? I think.
Yeah, that was
So
yeah.
yeah. So
So again, it's just in general, like you said, they maybe he everything was kind of spoon fed to him, and it was just that was his. He never experienced it, and again, it hit him so hard that it started impacting his game to the point where you went from a number one overall pick to now you're a backup, and it solidified that you're going to be a backup for the rest of your career.
yeah. No, I'm definitely with you. Let's move on to Kirk Cousins. Yeah. What are your biggest takeaways? Your craziest, or you're like just what the fuck?
His shit was more just accept. I feel like his his code was like accepting that you're just an average motherfucker. You're the average Joe, dude. Like you're the you was a backup. You got your chance. You shined in it, and now you're trying to pretty much make it a better situation for yourself, which is good. All this is positive and good, but realistically, this is you hit your cap. This is the best you're going to get, and I don't know. I feel like his story was more the what you expect. I feel like from the quarterback position, you expect them to be this. Again, it's that average Joe feel. I didn't get excited when I was watching him or none of that. His story and again him doing stuff for the community and all that. It's just like what you expect from your quarterback of a team, pretty much in the middle of fucking nowhere, rather too. Like I just think that's what you expect. So I didn't really have anything for him. Or I didn't feel like, damn, I feel for Kirk. Nah, Kirk, you still average Joe Kirk.
You know, he was he was just as a person very like blah and average, and like how like uh you know how black people joke about it, like going over white people's house and like the food not being seasoned and shit. That's the vibe I got from Kirk Cousins though. Like I felt like if I went over to his house and I was gonna eat his food, like his wife was gonna make some bland ass mashed potatoes and like the fried chicken would have no color to it. Like it just be some boiled ass chicken legs and like that's what I saw when I watched him and like he was just go ahead, go ahead. What was you about to
I was laughing because I could just imagine the Boondocks. It's just like, ew, Miss Cousins, your peach cobbler look like throw up.
say? I mean, that's exactly what it was, man. And I was like, man, these, it's just like he wear like cotton vest and
The
like
sweater vest,
khakis, like
yeah.
plaid
He
khakis.
just
You know what I'm saying? Like it was just he was literally the most average ass person, and I just
it's how he
I could
plays. It's how he plays.
and I think that's exactly how he plays when it specifically in the playoffs is how he plays. And I think it just to me he translates of that's what it was like him growing up. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
was like. Like that's how his life was since the beginning. Like I believe that's
Since the
how his mom
beginning.
was. I believe that's how his dad was. Like he's so used to it and so comfortable in this.
Mm-hmm.
I think spoke a lot. And I think again, it just felt unseasoned. Like his every scene I saw was very how he talked to his kids. Not trying to criticize how he talks to his kids, but like I do think I did like how he kind of talked about his faith a little bit, and like he was very
Mm-hmm.
like he wasn't shy about that. He was very faith first. That I give him props for because a lot of people would hide that,
Yeah.
or not hide
Shy
it, but
away
like
from it.
not have that in front of the cameras. Um, again, I just like his worst part of his day was literally when he burnt a hole in his hoodie. Was the worst part
Mm.
of his day. That pissed me off because as a regular person, I'm like, bro, like I deal with so much shit, like what Marcus Mariota was dealing with, and this guy, worst part was like a little burnt hole in his favorite hoodie, like that kind of pissed me off. And then I think to me it showed like his injuries were legit, like he was getting beat up too the whole season,
Mm-hmm.
and he really had like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, he's like, I got bruised ribs, but I can tough it out. I'll be good. Unless they fucking power drive me again, then I'll be hurting. But like to me, he really shows some toughness. Whereas Mariota's injuries, he didn't mention his injury until he like bailed out on the team. And I thought that was like very convenient. You know what I mean? Like he didn't
Yeah.
really talk about it. And then Kirk Cousins, they really maybe it's how it's produced, but they talked about him getting hurt and his injuries all season long. Like it was like this is how it was, and I thought the one thing that was crazy, right? And I'm not trying to stretch this out. This last thing I'm gonna say is when he was hooking the thing up to his brain, to
It's
test
just yeah.
his focus and shit. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, you are doing too fucking much. Like that is not helping you do what you need to on the field. There's no way that is translating to the field, and you just if it makes him feel better, cool. But like that's a placebo. Just that shit is fake, bro. That's not helping.
And how he tried to translate that to the football field. Like he had that one incident where he was it was loud and the microphone was messing up, and he said that he yelled at the coach, and the coach was like, "Hey, you need to calm down." And it was just like, dude, that has nothing to do with your neural focus training that you was just doing. But the fact that you just tried to make those two go together was just like, all right, dude, you're so fucking average. Whatever.
I did like his commitment though. I'll say that like to go that far and be able to put in that, it's still bullshit. But I just to me it showed how committed he was. All three quarterbacks I think really show how committed they are. Patrick Mahomes part. What was your main takeaway from Patrick Mahomes?
Um, well, obviously, I don't like the guy because he's a fucking beast and he plays in my division. But in general, I will say I gained so much respect for him in the sense of again, the guy is the best quarterback in the league, and I'm not afraid to say that. I don't give a fuck if he is in the division or not. He is the best quarterback in the league. The dude is tough. Um, and again, he pretty much shows it. Like I said, his trainings is what stood out to me the most. Like the shit he does with the twerking his body, and like he actually trains that way so he can like he trains in as he's a baseball player still, so he can be able to do the things he does on the football field that look so normal for him, but for us, it's like, oh my God, he just did that. Like the way he trains is crazy. And again, it's just I did gain a whole nother respect for him. Um, I mean, the dude is tough. The dude is tough. I ain't really got much to say about him because I can't like him. I will never like him. Fuck
Right,
you,
that's crazy.
Patrick Mahomes.
That's
But other
crazy.
than that, the dude is a beast. The dude is a beast.
To me, he showed me why. Like he's that motherfucker, bro. Like he gave me. I'm a Patriots fan, so forgive me, but like he gave me Tom Brady vibes of like when he started popping his shit and when he was his workouts and just the way he would just talk to people in general, like show me why like he is that dude. He's that competitive about everything, and
Mm.
it blows my mind that somebody so competitive can have literally the most unlikable people around him, as in his brother and his wife. I hate both of them, and they are
Both
so annoying. Like his wife looks like Cynthia from Rugrats, the doll that Angelica would have, and like his brother. I'm glad they didn't do it like an in depth on his brother because like that would have just pissed me off even more. And I just, it's crazy again how the most it guy can just be surrounded by the most unlikable people and still be who he is, bro. It's crazy. It's like he really got to go home to that. And like she's just got this stupid ass look on her face and has the most like standard white girl private school voice.
she she do look like she was like she tried to go to a sorority house and they turned her down. Like she do look like that. Like I don't see
Ah,
how he couldn't have done better than her, but that's neither here or there. Like
bro, she look like
that's
this, dog. She look like this.
they called her Cynthia from
She look like
Rugrats,
that, dog.
dog.
She look like that, cuz. That's crazy. I did, even though I don't like her, I did like the in depth look on her like owning, even though they framed it as her owning the part of the women's soccer team.
The soccer team, yeah.
Even though we know who bought that, we know who bought that. The same guy that paid the bills. Okay, but you know I thought that would I like that how they kind of gave an in depth look on that. That was very intriguing. I like that like he just showed how he was that guy and how he was still able to like do regular shit like chill with family at parties and chop it up and you know he still had groupies in his family like you know the white dude that was like yeah like I don't know it was a groupie white dude at his like family party and that was like just yanning him up and it's like yeah that's how I went Patrick yeah it's just funny as shit but you know
There's no
he
way. It's no way. He ain't cheat on her or fuck other bitches. It's no way.
facts
I
big facts.
because her voice is annoying. The way she talks is annoying. It's no way you ain't just like nah. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm sorry, Brittany. If you actually think he didn't cheat on you or fuck other bitches, you're fucking stupid. Because that nigga had to. Sorry.
Same thing for LeBron. Like with early Savannah. Savannah bad now. Savannah is bad. But like when she first, well, you know, when it was like 19 to like 25, when she was just like the average chick, right? You know,
Yeah,
LeBron was running through shit. But yeah, now Patrick been cheating on that. Yeah, ain't no doubt, bro. Ain't no doubt. That's why he got the big ass house he building now, cause he about
that
to
shit
have.
fire.
It's crazy, dog.
That shit is fire. His house is fire. But I mean, with all that bread he got, and again, he know he ain't going nowhere for at least 7, 10 years. He ain't going nowhere. He gonna own Kansas City by the time he leave. By the time
You
he
know,
retire.
You know what fire aspect I saw was when Andy Reid lets them practice like trick plays and stuff for like
Mm,
15 minutes a day or whatever it is. I
mm.
feel like every coach should have that. Like every coach should have that and actually be able to implement some of that stuff. Uh,
That's what
it,
make him different. That's what makes him different.
it's
That's
I
what makes him
just
different.
God, I thought that was great. Trying to think. Oh, this is what I love about the show, and this is what I was talking to you about before earlier, was how each quarterback was almost like a different social class. Of Patrick Mahomes being the high class, middle class was Kirk Cousins, and Mariota being the lower bottom poor class. Right? Was that like I love how it just gave a different perspective. Like we saw through every perspective a quarterback can really have and how their life is different and implemented. Like we saw Kirk Cousins' house, a very middle up, I would say up, kind of upper class compared to what I grew up in, but like that's middle class compared to the house that Patrick was building. And then we had Marcus Mariota's apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like everything translated mentality. A 1% mentality that Patrick Mahomes had, whereas Kirk Cousins was trying everything he can, but all he was very middle class as far as his mentality. Same thing for
Mm-hmm.
Mariota. Like we saw that, and it was a clear difference. And to me, it all made sense. Why one quarterback was better than others, one was mid pack, and then the other one was at the low and barely got a job. Like to me, it made all sense. Like I ain't trying to bash Mariota because I don't think he was a bad guy or nothing, but like it all made sense to me. With that being said, we are going to take. Hold on, give me a second. I gotta find the schedule. uh, yes. So make sure you check us out. I have to change the graphics, but as of right now, we are doing every Thursday at 9 o'clock for our stream schedule. So check us out on stream. Comment, interact with us. Tell us how you hate our fucking opinions and or how you love the show. Whatever you want to say. Check us out at 9 o'clock on every Thursday. With that being said, we're going to go to a commercial from our sponsor, DREADSOCK. Here is the commercial. All right, we are back from our DREADSOCK commercial for the people that's watching on YouTube for long form content. Love DREADSOCK, wonderful sponsor. Check their Instagram, their website out, www.dreadsock.com. Go get you some merch. With that being said, AFC East. Do you want to lead the way or you want me to do it? What's up, you?
Nah, this your division. Go ahead.
Man, fuck everybody but one team. If you don't know, if you were listening to earlier, yes, I'm a Patriots fan. And the AFC East, even though it's not the best division, I think it's going to be pretty close this year based on some moves from the Jets. And I think my team will surprise some people. But with that being said, our AFC East review is beginning now. It regrets me to say I have a 2-way tie for first. Like I have a good half and a bad half, pretty much is what I see as far as what I think our records are going to be. So for the worst team though, I'll still give a number order. Unfortunately, my Patriots are last on this AFC East list in this division. But I think they are going to fight their way to be tied or close with the Dolphins. But right now, we're just talking about the Patriots. Trey, why are you smiling right now?
What? I'm listening. I'm with the viewers right now. I'm just listening to see what the hell you got to say.
I think the Patriots, unfortunately, I love my team, but Mac Jones is our quarterback. And I'm not too excited about it. I think because of that, not only that, but just the offense in general, because we really don't have no more wide receiver. Our best receiver is Juju. And for some reason, Belichick refuses to draft a great wide receiver in the first round for whatever reason. He tried with N'Keal Harry. That was a big dump. But because he refuses to surround our quarterback with good weapons, that's the reason why we're not going to be that good. And I wouldn't be surprised. I see us getting eight wins, to be honest. I think that. Hold on, because I'm looking up something. Hold on. I mean, this is what I battle with. I battle with how bad this team is going to be. Like, not how good the team is going to be, but how bad it is. Because Mac Jones is our quarterback, I think we're going to come up to a very slow start. Like, I see us going 2-5 to start the season. But I think this is what's going to happen, is that a lot of people... Last season, Bailey Zappi had a few games where he started, and he ended up undefeated in games that he started. Okay? Mac Jones came in. After those games he started, he just got the starting job back, and then they threw Zappi back in, and they lost that game, and they never went back to Zappi. But any game that Bailey Zappi started, he won, and he was undefeated. Now, granted, I think it was only like 3 games, but still, I think Bailey Zappi takes over as a quarterback after 5 to 6 games, and he finishes the season, and we no longer have Mac Jones as our quarterback, unless an injury or something like that happens. And I think that saves the season. With that being said, though, we still end up with like 8 wins, and it's not going to be a good season. Our defense is what's going to hold up the bargain, but because the offense is going to be so bad at the start of the season, they're going to be tore up when it comes to the end. So I just... Bill will always give us a great to elite defense, but just that offense is going to fuck it up for everybody. So go ahead. What you got, Trey?
They just didn't do enough in the offseason to improve. Like I said, they're always going to be a well-coached team because of Bill Belichick. Their defense is always going to give opposing QBs a hell early on in the game, and it just depends on what the offense can do enough to either stay in the game or to possibly take the lead or not. But again, Bill Belichick, because of his respect and what he's able to bring to a team coach-wise, you can never count them out completely. But in general, again, they did not make enough moves in the offseason, and I do have them as the worst team in this division. By far, they're the worst team in the division.
I miss Tom Brady, man. I miss him so much. It don't even make sense. And I'm so tired of Mac Jones. I mean, I think he might play a little bit better than last season, but like it's not going to be that word of a difference. I mean, we finally got a real offensive coordinator, but I don't see it playing out good. If we are good, I'll be highly surprised though. I'll put it at that. Who's your number 2, the second worst team in the AFC East for you? Do we got the same team?
No, we do not.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll go from there. I have the Dolphins. I've got the Dolphins as my second to worst. I think those concussion issues still repeat themselves this year on Tua. I mean, I want him to do great. I think that the Dolphins' defense will be good, but I just think he continues to have issues. I mean, he gained some weight and he's taking some jiu-jitsu classes to help him on rolls and stuff like that. But if it's those are habits are very hard to break in the way you fall. And he just tends to hold the ball a lot longer than what a lot of people think. And unfortunately, this tyreekhill, Waddle super offense they got going, I don't think it will make it just because the Tua is just not dependable physically. But when he's on the field, they'll be great. Hopefully they get Dalvin Cook. That might help out a little bit. But I don't see. Like I said, I think history repeats itself, and Tua still had those concussion problems. And when we see it this year, I think Tua's going to tap out. He already had those thoughts of retirement from last season, and I think it's going to come back to haunt him. That he's going to keep it up. So that's where I'm at.
So, well, I would say, just to piggyback a little bit, we do have the same ratings now, and that was because of the key injury to.
That's where you.
No, I just realized it came to me, the Jalen Ramsey injury and him being out some weeks because they had to go get Eli Apple.
It'd be like 2 weeks
And
though. It'll only be like he'll be out for 2 weeks, like of the season.
the beginning. But again, it's still going to take him like I'm not going to say a whole bunch of time, hopefully, to get back to game mode, or get the in-game season mode. But in general, if you saying without the injury, just straight up, no, I'm going. That's not my 13. But the Dolphins, since we're talking about them, I do think their defense is going to be good as hell this year, and I think
Okay.
their defense is going to be legit. And again, their offense is just explosive. You can't count them out of a game just because of Tua. I do believe, I'm not gonna say I believe in freaking and Mike White, but as a backup, Mike White ain't a bad backup. He could
I
he
agree.
could sling that. And I think he'll be able with the weapons he's got. He'll be able to produce enough to the defense for the defense to carry that team, and that's why I don't have them at necessarily number three. But I do think even without Tua, with Mike White as a backup, I think they could be still a player. I think they could be a possible wild card in the AFC.
We talking Mike White, dog. I ain't never thought I hear you say Mike White.
Again, it's not just him. I mean, obviously the offense is just because of they're explosive. Like they can score when I feel like they can. You can always gotta keep your guard up against them. You can't just sit there and say, all right, they're gonna roll over. They down 14-21. This is over. Dude, all they need is one freaking momentum play and they back in the game. Let alone again, people are sleeping on Xavier Howard. They're just giving out on him completely like he wasn't a beast, one of the best corners in the league a couple years ago. They just completely gave out on him. People saying Jalen Ramsey washed up. It's just like y'all tripping. Like what's wrong with y'all? Like
plus,
no,
plus,
I don't.
plus, Ramsey got replaced by the GOAT cornerback of all time, Eli Apple. You know, he about to be locked down, burnt toast. You know what I'm saying?
So no, I don't agree with that. I don't think that they're the third best team. No,
So who do you
if
have
you
as your
ask,
third team? Because they're probably my second team. Good, or maybe not. You okay? You have a
I'm
stroke?
gonna. Yeah, I'm contemplating life
God
still,
damn.
low key. I'm still contemplating life about it. Um, I was really gonna say the freaking Jets. I got the
Wow.
Jets three. I
Wow.
got the Jets three. I have the Jets three, and I got the Dolphins two. Um, Yeah, that's
Well,
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I got the Jets three.
I mean, okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll get to that. Like I said, I had a 2 week tie for pretty much it was like 2-2, like two bad teams and two good teams. Is how I had it pictured. Well, I wouldn't say bad teams because I think the Patriots are like a medium, like they're gonna fight their way to 8 wins. It just is what it is. Like I don't see a Belichick team having less than 8 wins. Even though it's still not good, but for Mac Jones to be the quarterback and them have 8 wins, I think is a great deal. I had you're gonna hate me then. I had the Bills as my number two team, just because I think that Stephon Diggs is kind of showing it, but that offensive unit is having some burnout where they've had the same pieces for a couple years in a row, and it's like, what else can we do with this
Mm-hmm.
team, right? They Josh Allen is who isn't as great as what a lot of people thought he was, but he's there, right? Uh, I think that a lot of people thought that Gabe Davis was going to be the next crazy weapon, and he had a good season last season, but not nearly as what the game breaking receiver they thought he was because he's so tall and he can stretch the field. I just think the pieces and the offense they have together have stalled out. They're very complacent and they don't know what else they can do. And I think it's because they never got that run game to
Mm-hmm.
really be working like the way they thought they were. And so that's why they've kind of stalled out because they don't know what to do now. And that's a completely systems type of deal. If you get that great run system in with that offense, it will be amazing offense, but it's not going in that direction. James Cook, it seems like everyone and that team is talking about James Cook being that number one running back now, and that they think he can be a 3-down back, which I kind of don't see, but hopefully, I mean, I think he's capable, but I mean, you just don't know until you see it.
Mm-hmm.
He's making crazy camps. I saw a video of him in training camp the other day. Um, I just, I think they stalled out, man. I mean, I just don't see how. I think they're gonna. I think they're a 10-win team, being the second best team in this division, uh, and I think they're they're gonna make the playoffs, but it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. And like I said, I think this offense is just complacent. Still water is what I see them as. And I don't think they can have a better season than what they had last year.
No.
How do you feel about the Bills?
Well, they're my number one.
Yeah, good. Let's talk about it. Tell me why.
They're my number one. I get the whole, like you said, they've been at the mountaintop for so long, and it's just about time that somebody overthrew their ass. Like a president that been in office for too long. I get that. I get that. Do I think that's going to change anything? No, I don't. Josh Allen is still fucking Josh Allen. They can still they're like the Phoenix Suns when Steve Nash and Amari was Stoudemire was there. I think they're fast paced, score and just outscore you offense. It's just what keeps them winning games. I do think that's not a formula to win in the playoffs though. But if we're talking about again just their division, I do think they'll win the division because of the simple fact they're gonna just outscore anybody. Um, so again, I don't think the other team's defenses is going to be enough to stop them. And again, it's just because of Josh Allen, pretty much. I feel like Josh Allen could fucking have bums on his team at wide receiver. Like to me, Gabe Davis is overrated. I'm sorry. I think he's overrated. Um, Diggs is obviously a dog. And again, they could put anybody in that goddamn slot. Like they had Cole Beasley a year. They could put old people, young people, whoever they want at wide receiver to work with Josh Allen, and it'll work. So that kind of just shows me that it's not necessarily the system; it's just that motherfucker's a beast. And because of that, and how long they've been together, I would put that over throwing Aaron Rodgers to the Jets and saying, "Go win me a Super Bowl 1 year." Who the fuck do y'all think y'all are? No, I don't think that shit is gonna happen. I think they'll get to the playoffs too. Yes, I do believe that. Aaron Rodgers is still a bad motherfucker. Yes, I do. But I don't think they have enough when it comes to him adapting to the AFC style of play when it comes to outscoring and all that. No, I don't think that's what he's accustomed to. Because I feel like the AFC is more score, score, score. I think the NFC is who get more stops. And I think now that he's in the AFC, he's going to have to do that in the playoffs. He's going to have to score points. You're not just going to sit there and win a game by at 24 to 16 and the end of the game in the AFC. That's not going to be enough. You got to put up 30, and you got to be their quarterback can't be fucking up. And I'm not a believer completely in a 1 year turnaround for the Jets. I'm not.
You are so funny because I feel like you just have these old man thoughts sometimes and these old man ways. You gotta be hip to the new Aaron Rodgers and the new New York Jets.
He said
Because
be hip.
be hip, catch on with it, get with it, bro. You drinking Mountain Dew? That stuff is terrible for you. You gotta stop that, bro. That is some bad shit. I know I'm not the most healthiest guy on the planet, but damn, Mountain Dew is like the worst of the worst. But anyways, back to what if it's Mountain Dew in the bottle. Anyways, uh, you got to get hip and you got to catch on to the new Aaron Rodgers and this new wave that's running through New York right now, and you just got to go with it, man. He's got talent on both sides with his offense and defense. I think this team has the perfect balance of not only just offense and defense, but a running game and a pass game now. they're gonna go through their new couple ups and downs, like like most teams are gonna go through. But
Mm.
because they have such a wonderful balance, it doesn't always have to be Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't always have to be the offense. It can be the defense too. And he unlike last year, he has receivers around him that are truly talented, and that just out there to ball with him. Brees Hall is coming off his injury, but even still, the Jets last year, and I'm hoping it translates this year to a really good run system. And he seems to have great chemistry with what's the receiver's name? What's his name? The number one,
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. Like repping Ohio State, coming with it. I see a new wave, and I'm thinking that I used to be like you. Okay, I used to be like you. I used to be very hard headed and not want or not think that Aaron Rodgers could just switch teams and it be what it him have a good season. But I feel like that's instincts to kind of fight off, because he is a veteran quarterback and he has ways, and I think because that team is so youthful, I think he can come in and kind of bring his mentality to that team, and be more of a disciplined team and be more offensively savvy. I think it's just a new vibe in New York, man. You just got to get with it, or you just get behind, and that's just what it is, man. You got to give it to them.
They're the fucking Jets.
So what about it, man? I don't want them to be good. Trust me, I don't want them to be good. But if I'm looking across the map and I see Mac fucking Jones versus Aaron Rodgers, like, it's got to be Aaron Rodgers. I honestly believe, and we're talking about recently MVP not Aaron Jones, Jesus, Aaron Rodgers too. Like, it's not like he's like he's old, but he's not past his talent.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I get that. I just don't believe. Also, just like the fact that, and I'm a little bit biased. The fact that Nathaniel Hackett just goes back to working with this guy, just it doesn't sit well with me. I know they have their chemistry and they love each other and they rubbing each other's dicks against each other, whatever. But the fact that again, y'all back together now. Yeah, his last MVP season was under you as the offensive coordinator. Um, I don't know. It's just something about it that is just I don't think when they need to play ball, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. I just don't. I don't know what it is. I feel like again, first round it's going to be a first round upset. They're going to have a crazy regular season. They might even win the division, but I just feel like if they when the playoffs come, I don't. If you name me the playoff teams, I don't think they're going to beat any of them. I just don't.
I don't blame you. I get the feeling, and like I said, that was my initial reaction when he went to the Jets. I try not to be behind the times, and I try not to not get with it. Like, I hate knocking the idea as soon as I see it happen. So I get the first instinct behind it. With that being said, I only think this is a good team for a year, maybe two, and then he's out of here anyway. I think he's retiring. But I could also see this situation go horribly wrong. I could see Aaron Rodgers being who he is and wanting to do it his way, and the team being so young, kind of rebel against him because they're not used to it. Aaron Rodgers, like the Jets, not used to this type of quarterback. If we're being honest. Now, an interesting theory I do think of is that Aaron Rodgers took a pay cut, right?
Mm.
If they trade for Devontae Adams with the money that he gave up on the pay cut, or if they get Dalvin Cook with the money he gave up on the pay cut, I think all those things could happen. I think we see this team different route. I think trading right now would be a bad idea, but I mean, if you're getting Devontae Adams, who am I to say that's a bad transaction? You know what I mean? And
Garrett Wilson being it's pussy. It's pussy. I'm sorry, it's pussy. Like now y'all creating super teams in football now. Like grow up. You gonna sit there and follow each other?
The preseason game?
No, I'm looking at I did. Is Brees Hall on the pup list or not? I think he's on the pup
I don't
list.
think he's practicing right now. I think
No,
he's still out.
I think he's on the pup list. Like meaning he the minimum he's going to be out for is the at least 4 weeks.
Is he?
That's what I'm trying to make sure. That's literally what I'm
He
doing.
got hurt like first half of the season, so I think he should be good.
He said he might be ready. All right, that's it. I just want to make sure. Because again, if he is on the pup list and he's not playing at least 4 weeks, I could definitely see them going to go get Dalvin Cook. Even though he left there without a contract and all that, I could see them saying, "Look, we're all in. We're gonna still San Friends. Um, we're gonna still San Fran's strategy and just go all in on this shit and just build a team off of 1 year shits and hopefully it just plays out for the long term later. But yeah, I'm just not a believer in the Jets. I'm not. Like I said, if you tell me go with what's been working or go against something new, I'm gonna go with what's been working. And the Bills have been working. They ain't been working when they play certain people in the playoffs, but to get them there and to get them like at least to the AFC Championship or divisional round, it's been working. So that's what I'm going with.
Question: what was your initial thoughts when Russell Wilson went to uh, went to the Broncos?
When he first got there, I didn't like the fitting. I really didn't. I didn't think that Nathaniel Hackett was going to be able to use work with him and work around him because of their play styles is different. He needs to run around and shit and extend the plays. And Nathaniel Hackett wants a quarterback to sit his ass in the pocket and go through his progressions and shit. That's not Russell Wilson. So I didn't think that was going to work. And luckily, it fucking didn't. Like, that
Yeah,
shit was fucking horrible. So,
I
again, this
I was
different
trying to compare the
scenario.
two situations because I think they're very similar. Um,
Really?
no, not in terms of how they will work out, but like in terms of you take a team that is pretty much like plenty talented at almost every position, and you just take a good quarterback and you place it on that team that essentially needs a quarterback to take that next step. Now, I think that obviously the Hackett situation wasn't the guy for the Broncos. So of course that situation didn't work. Whereas I think this situation kind of will. And I think Hackett being a coordinator instead of a head coach,
Mm,
I think is perfect. And I think a lot of offensive coordinators just think they can be coaches. I don't think he was at that point yet, or even remotely ready. And I think he's just way better as an offensive coordinator, which is why I think this will work. Um, and I think having such a great offensive coordinator, plus you have a head coach that's defensive minded, is again a good balance for what the Jets need.
I get that.
Um, with that being said, I think we're good, right?
Yeah, that's yeah.
All right. With that being said, make sure you guys go check out the full video on YouTube. Uh, I will have that put out probably tomorrow. I ain't doing it tonight. I'm tired, man. Um, and we also have it on Spotify, and we'll get that to you guys. And we'll make sure. Obviously, we post shit on, not shit, but content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our YouTube page and TikTok and all the short form content. We post stuff up there. Make sure you guys go check it out. Again, this is the Nuff Said Sports Podcast, episode 11. It was a pleasure doing this episode with you, Trey. Any last words for the audience?
Fuck y'all. Nah, but
I swear
yeah,
I'd be thinking
man.
you'd be having a damn stroke, bro. You'd be like so like fucking lost, and then
I
just
mean,
coming,
I have to
coming.
process what the fuck I'm about to say first, but like dislike the video, say fuck you in the comments, tell your mama, tell your sister, tell your cousin, anybody, please support. We appreciate y'all. Been getting a lot of feedback. I say that every episode because every episode in between we really do take the time to read these comments.
I
And the
gotta,
ones this week were actually good. They were actually good, entertaining conversations, not even comments. Those I feel like were conversations we was having.
yeah, facts. I mean, it makes it so much more worth it when everybody's interacting. And the episodes will continue to get better and better with the better content that we plan on this NFL season hyping up. Hopefully, we get some NBA shit popping off at some point. I mean, I feel like how far are we from the NBA season starting?
Nowhere near close.
And we got like a month or two at least.
Man, the only thing NBA wise you're gonna hear is damn the FIBA championships and what they doing with their national teams.
Oh yeah, I saw fucking who was it? Luca got beat by
Greece.
fucking the Greece and the Giannis brothers, not the main not Greek the Freak, but his brothers beat fucking Luca, which is hilarious to me. But you know, whatever it is. Yeah, with that being said, guys, we are out. Pleasure to do this podcast with you. We see y'all next week. Yes, sir.